you afraid those silk broads behind us will rape you?" He said, "Shit, if you stripped and searched all of them, you wouldn't find a C-note. They ain't nothing but square housewives. They sick of all that half-ass screwing at home. They layin' to swindle chump niggas out of their youth. They know enough on each other to keep all their jibs sealed. Ain't a chance for their husbands to tumble to what's going on. So what if some white joker who knows them made this scene and saw them? Every one of them is just slumming out with the girls. Jack, what they got is a secret sex club." I said, "Top, I'm afraid. I sure wish I had a snort of girl. Can you score?" He told me, "Blood, I believe you're a down young stud. I got news for you. You can score right with me. I got the best girl and boy in town. Even my reefer's dynamite. Blood, I love you. You got heart. How much stuff you want?" I said, "What's the bite for girl?" "A fin, a number 5 cap, a 16th for a C, a piece for $1,000. I got a cozy pad around the corner. There you can fly to the moon, pimpin' buddy." I said, "Top, let's split to your pad. If your girl is mellow, I'll maybe go for a C-note." I threw a fin on the log. The Mexican showed me her choppers like I was her dentist. 3 square black studs were standing rapping to the purring pack in the booth. We went out and got in Class Top's hog. My foot struck a bottle. I looked down. It was the dead gin soldier Poison's whore had sucked dry. The hog shot from the curb like a red torpedo. Eckstein's syrupy "Cottage for Sale" oozed from the hog's radio. I thought, I sure gotta hurry and get my ass into a hog at least. I'll cop a Duesenberg in maybe a year. Geez, it must be 1:30. I should have checked on the run. My luck is changing, though. This glossy top joker is my end to sweet. He lived in a plush apartment building. It had all the jazz. Technicolored lights spotlighted the exterior. Fake rubber plants stood tall in the foyer. We took a chrome and brass elevator to his second-floor pad. Thick red broadloom carpet wall to wall in the hall. Fresh black and gold paint sparkled the walls and ceilings. A Polynesian-type dream took our bennies and my lid in a small silver-mirrored entrance hall. My feet sank into the soft lavender carpet. I could hear the deep-throated boom of a console phonograph. The ink spot's lead tenor was parfait, whispering grass. I followed Top and the olive-tinted beauty into the womb-like living room. Double heavy lavender drapes covered the windows. Not a beam of street light or sunshine could violate this pimp's lair. Top and I sat on a long gray sofa. It had cost him a big buck to lower the ceiling with the silver lame fabric. The only light came from the glass-topped cocktail table. It gurgled and flashed a pale blue light. A score of yellow, red, and orange tropical fish streaked inside the aquarium built 6 inches below the tabletop. 2 gray rubber hoses at each end of the tank ran down into the lavender carpet. It was a slick drain-off and fresh water gimmick. The broad was almost naked. She stood wide-legged in front of us, like a bellhop waiting for orders. The table's blue light behind her silhouetted her Coca-Cola bottle curves inside the flame-red shorty gown. I saw a 4-inch cone of jet hair between her thighs. She had a rare cat with that extra dimension. I unglued my eyes and looked into her face. She had the dreamy eyes of a freakish Mona Lisa. He said, "Bitch, bring a couple of outfits and some caps of girl and boy. Oh yeah, blood, this is Raydell." That awesome round butt of hers jiggled as she wiggled past me. The big white phonograph in the corner was booming out a novelty tune. When your pipes get dry, then you know you're high. Everything is dandy. You truck on down to the candy store, but you don't get no peppermint candy. Then you know your body's sent, and you don't care if you don't pay rent. Light a tea and let it be, if you're a viper. This pretty gouster's sure pimping his ass off, I thought. He's a crazy gouster if he thinks he'll con me into banging any H. I'm not even sure about shooting the girl. Of course, I can't come off like a hayseed either. I said, Jim, you sure ain't jiving. Your layout is a son of a bitch. He said, I got 5 bedrooms here. These whores on the fast track dig front and flash. You can't pimp here unless you got 'em. Jack, this C I got ain't going to let you split for a while. You may as well shed your threads and get in the groove. The broad brought the outfits, a spoon, and a dozen white and brown caps. She put them on the cocktail table. She slid it closer to us. The water tidal waved in the tank. The fish darted in a frenzy. She stooped and started unlacing Top's shoes. I reached into my pocket for a C-note. I had peeled it off from my crotch stash before leaving the Haven. He said, This flight's on me. It's a sample. You can cop what you want later. We stripped our clothes off to our shorts. His were candy-striped silk. I felt like a bum in my white cotton jocks. The broad draped our clothes on each arm of the gray overstuffed chair across the room. She didn't have any of my scratch in her mitt when she came away. She stood next to me. The phone on the end table beside him jangled. He uncradled it. He said, Castle of Joy, what's your desire? Oh, yeah, Angelo. She's here. Hell no, she ain't dossing. She's on her way. He hung up and said, Bitch, just slip your Benny on and get downtown to that head bellboy at the Franklin Arms. Dimples and the other girls are getting more action than they can turn. Take the key to the kitty and get there fast. The broad zipped out of there in less than 3 minutes. She sure liked getting her man some money. Those tricks at the Franklin were going to give their swipes a treat all right. I thought, I gotta make the runt cultivate her cat like that broad's. He said, That's a good young bitch I got there. I copped her in Hawaii a year ago. There are 20,000 white suckers in town for a convention. They got a double saw in one hand and their swipes in the other. Ray Dale ain't had no sleep in 36 hours. My other 4 whores been humping at the Franklin since early this morning. I can't miss a 5G score for the 3 days, even with Angelo's 30% off the top. Ain't but a C a day for a girl and oil for the heat. He got up and whistled our belts through the loops in our pants. He walked back and started to coil my belt around my arm just above the elbow hollow. Look, Top, I'm not a square, I said, but I ain't shooting no H. I'm game to bang some C. I've been curious to try it like that. He said, Kid, I ain't squeezing your balls to hip you that after mink comes sable. Ain't nothing a greater blast than horse. It's your privilege to wake up slow if you want. Horse is what puts the ice in a pimp's game. He upended a cap of girl into the spoon and stuck an eyedropper into the fish tank. He pressed the bulb and drew the dropper full. He emptied it into the spoon. He held the yellow flame of a table lighter beneath the spoon and took a tiny wad of cotton from an ashtray. He tossed it into the bowl of the spoon and then wrapped a thin piece of cellophane around the tip of the dropper. He fitted the needle on it. He stuck the hollow end of the needle into the cotton and drew the dropper full. I felt my blood smashing against the tight coils of the belt. I saw the veins balloon in the throbbing hollow. I smelled the sharp, sickly sweet odor of the cocaine. My palms were dripping sweat. He had the spike in his right hand. He grabbed my forearm with his left hand. I turned my head and closed my eyes. I bit down on my bottom lip, waiting for the stabbing plunge of the needle. He said, "Damn, you got some beautiful lines." I shivered when he daggered it in. I opened my eyes and looked. My blood had shot up into the dropper. He was pressing the bulb. I saw the blood-streaked liquid draining into me. It was like a ton of nitro exploded inside me. My ticker went berserk. I could feel it clawing up my throat. It was like I had 1,000,000 swipes in every pore from head to toe. It was like they were all popping off together in a nerve-shredding climax. I was quivering like a joker in the hot seat at the first jolt. I tried to open my talc-dry mouth. I couldn't. I was paralyzed. I could feel a hot ball of puke racing up from my careening guts. I saw the green, stinking puke rope arch into the black mouth of the wastebasket. I could feel the cool metal against my chest. I saw Top's manicured fingers pressing it close to me. He was saying, "You'll be all right in a minute, kid. You thought I was bullshitting when I told you I had the best stuff in town." I still couldn't say anything. I felt like the top of my skull had been crushed in. It was like I had been blown apart, and all that was left were my eyes. Then tiny prickly feet of ecstasies started dancing through me. I heard melodious bells tolling softly inside my skull. I looked down at my hands and thighs. A thrill shot through me. Surely they were the most beautiful in the universe. I felt a Superman's surge of power. I thought, it was a cinch that any stud as beautiful and clever as me would become the greatest pimp in history. What bitch could resist me? I turned and stared at the ugly stud beside me. He said, "Did you hear those chapel bells? Ain't they a bitch, kid?" "Yeah, man, I heard 'em loud and clear."